And to make it even more special, today is her birthday. Yep.
It is. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the next Vice President of the United States of America is here, Kamala Harris. Yay!
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Hey.
Hi. Oh, we're so glad to be with you. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'd start singing happy birthday, but I got a terrible singing voice.
It's okay. I can hear it. I hear it in my heart.
Let's do it. Happy birthday to you.
And you can have the
It's gonna sound like we're singing the round.
Birthday to you.
That was the saddest rendition of Happy Birthday anybody's ever sung. Happy
I
birthday.
will take it. It was good. I'll take it.
We owe you another one.
How's everyone?
Yeah.
Good.
Very well. How are you?
Good.
I'm good. You know, 14 days before the end of the election, I don't think of it as 14 days before because people have already started voting. I was in Florida yesterday. People started voting there yesterday. Today, people started voting in Wisconsin. You know, us in California, early voting with vote by mail. So 14 days until the end of the election and no time to spare, which you guys know, which is why you're here with us. And thank you. It means the world to me.
Absolutely. And what you're doing means the world to us. So thank you for fighting for all of us and for fighting for everyone's voice in this country. We know,
well, you know, Anthony.
Sorry, Senator, I was going to say, we know you are an enormous Avengers fan. I don't know if you guys all know this, but when we were shooting Infinity War, she and her husband, Doug, tried multiple times to get to set to come say hello because she just wanted to check out a day of us shooting Avengers because that's what a huge fan she is. So I do want to talk a little bit about your, you know, how much you love Avengers and Black Panther, but.
Well, I would love to do that. I mean, you know, here's the thing. I think that, first of all, there's so much I want to do just to thank Anthony and Joe and the entire cast. It means, first of all, I'm a huge fan. So I'm like a kid right now being with all of you guys and all together. And Don has been a friend for a long time and Bridget, and I just want to thank you guys for what you're doing to put yourselves out there, to be so engaged and to speak up in this way, because you certainly don't have to, and you're all so talented. The gift that you give is such an important one, and thank you for speaking out and for supporting Joe and me. I also just want to mention Chadwick. You know, actually, where I am now, the studio for my DC headquarters, if you will, is at Howard University. And that's Chadwick and I actually both attended Howard University. And I think about him all the time. There are monuments and memorials set up on campus to him. And he was a very dear friend. And so I do want to just, as I know we all do, honor his life and the memory of him. And, you know, just thinking about the Avengers and the films that you, the Russo brothers, and all of you as artists have created. I was thinking about, okay, let's think about the Avengers in the context of this election, and this election in the context of who we are as America, right? And I think that there is something about the values of the Avengers and the films that are reflective of the core values of who we are as Americans. You know, if you think about, for example, the significance, and Joe Biden feels very strongly about this too. If you think about the significance of, and I heard, Chris, I heard you talking before I came on, right? And I couldn't agree with you more about the fish, by the way. But the importance of honor and courage and unity, right? And those being some of the, I think, guiding principles among many in the Avengers series, right? And so honor and decency. You know, Joe and I, of course, are committed to honoring the dignity of work, protecting the most vulnerable, respecting science and truth in the White House. And of course, we all know honor and decency matters. And it matters whether you are saving the universe from Thanos or fighting for the soul of our nation, but the integrity that should come and be in any leader in terms of valuing that principle, I think is very important. Courage, so right now, again, everyone who's a part of this, the courage to speak up and speak out in the way that you have, but in particular to do it when we are facing so many challenges as a country and as a people. And, one of the things I love about the characters is that even those characters who, they start out having, issues with each other or grievances or insecurities, that then those characters suit up, and they suit up when it counts, and they are just full of power, and power that is, an extension of an important principle of self-determination. And, traveling the country as I've been in these last many, many months, I'm seeing that in the American people right now. I'm seeing people willing to suit up. I mean, it's those people standing in lines right now, waiting to vote in the rain, waiting to vote in spite of state legislatures or state officials who are making it difficult for people to vote or trying to make it confusing for people to vote. But folks are suiting up in our country. People are suiting up in terms of saying that they're going to stand up and fight for the values that they hold dear, fight for the integrity of our democracy, fight to get closer to those ideals, like equal justice under law, knowing that that is, I think, the true sign of patriotism, Captain America, which is, it's about knowing that we love our country and we are willing to fight for its integrity and fight for the values we hold dear. And, so I think about that in terms of what the characters do in the show. And I think that, I think that people deserve an equal commitment from their president when it comes to that kind of fight and that willingness to suit up. And I think that's what you're going to get from Joe Biden. And then I guess finally the point about unity. I mean, we have to heal our country. And you guys were talking about this before I popped on, but the kind of hate and the sowing of hate and division, true leadership is about bringing people together and understanding that within the beauty of the diversity of who we are, the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And again, I often will talk with my team about the Avengers. By the way, they just think I'm just like wonking out on this. But the special powers, right? Like everyone brings their own power and are appreciated for that. And then all those superpowers in particular coming together at the end, right, to deal with Thanos. And I just think there is such symmetry around that in this moment. Because, of course, that was about the fate of the universe, and he held the fate of the universe in his hand. And right now we are looking at somebody who is denying science, be it a pandemic that has killed over 220,000 Americans and has harmed over 8 million Americans who will have untold long-term health consequences. Someone who is denying science while the western part of our country is burning with wildfires, while the coastal states are being ravaged by storms, while Midwestern states are facing floods where farmers have lost whole seasons of crops. So I guess if the Avengers can assemble from across the galaxy, then the American people can get together from wherever we are, whoever we voted for in the last election, and whatever language our grandmother spoke, and come together to get our country on the right track. So thank you all. Joe and I are so appreciative for all of you, and the values that you exhibit in your characters and your work are the values that we care most about. So thank you all. It's great to be with you.
Thank you. And
That was great. I forgot I was even a part of this thing. I just got lost in this. That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Hello.
Be with us. My goodness.
And 14 days to go. And go to iwillvote.com. I forgot to, I should have mentioned that. The website, very important, iwillvote.com.
Yes.
and I know you mentioned Chadwick, and I just want to say that, you know, he was a good friend and a generational talent and a wonderful human being. And I think that we were all very blessed to have had the opportunity to work with him. And I know that if he were still here, he'd be standing alongside us all right now. So
Yeah.
I know exactly where his heart would be. So I know that we've got a few questions from the cast that they want to ask you, Senator.
Okay.
And I think Scarlett may have a question. Scarlett, do you have your question?
I do. I heard an uh-oh there. I guess that was from work. Kamala, it's so nice to meet you. My question to you would be, if you could possess any of the superpowers that the Marvel characters possess, which one would you want and why?
You know, I mean, I think in lots of superpowers I would love to have that you all have. But I think that, you know, when we think of the Princess of Wakanda, that incredible sister, Shuri, I think that, you know, the ability to like come together and develop new technologies and tackle climate change and invest in, you know, I often say that the ability that we should all have to be able to see what can be unburdened by what has been, right? I think that's such an incredible superpower, if you will. It's an incredible talent, and it's part of what we need, which is all of us to be able to see a world and imagine a world where we have peace and where we have equity and where we cherish this God-given planet and where we value education of our children and imagine that and then work to get that. I think that's an incredible quality that actually is a superpower when people have it.
Amazing answer. Chris, I think you've got a question.
I do. Senator Harris, lovely to meet you. What scene from a Marvel movie, from any Marvel movie, is the most meaningful to you, and why?
Okay, so I would say when Gamora reaches out to Nebula. Because my sister is very important to me, and I know the power of sisterhood. I also know how sisters can fight, but at the end come together as they did. And so it was touching at the end, but in each iteration of their relationship, seeing it develop was fun to watch, and some of my favorite scenes.
Great. Zoe, will you talk about that scene a little bit from your point of view?
Oh my gosh, yes. I was having an out-of-body experience, by the way. I was like really fanning over you right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do believe in the power of sisterhood. Something beautiful has been happening in the last 2 years, post Me Too, you know, with the movement, and it's the solidarity that has grown within us to have each other's back, to care for each other, and to not just the inability to leave a woman behind. It has been really magical, and women like you, leaders like you, are always so inspiring for younger women. And actually, I do have a question for you. I know it's not on the script, so please forgive me. What message do you have for young women in America? Looking at their future.
Yeah, that's a great. I love that question, and thank you, Zoe. And I couldn't agree with you more. The power of sisterhood, and it's the sister that you were born with. It's the sisters that you choose, right? And the brothers, right? But you know, I've been the first woman in almost every position I've had. And my mother used to have many sayings. One of them is she'd say, Kamala, you may be the first to do many things, but make sure you're not the last. And so part of what I think about is the responsibility we each have to, there's a phrase, each one pull one, to create a path, when we chart that path, to make it wider so more can enter. But I will say also that we're still dealing with so many imbalances in terms of women in roles of leadership. And that could be in the corporate boardroom or the courtroom. And so part of what we have to do as women is remember that when we are in those rooms, and we may be the only one that looks like us or the only one who has had our life experience, we have to remember that we carry so many others in that room with us. And for that reason, we should never be in that room and feel alone. We should always remember there is a whole group of people who are cheering us on and are expecting that we're going to use the strength of our voice when we're in that room, and in that way represent and know that we are never alone. So those are some of the pieces of advice I'd give people, just to know you're not alone, and don't ever let anyone make you feel alone.
Thank you.
Amazing. And Paul, I believe you have a question as well.
I do, yes. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Senator Harris. This is a real honor. My question for you is, who is your favorite Avenger at this event?
Named Chris.
Wow. Way to
That's asking this
Mama
question.
didn't raise no fool.
That's not fair.
You are all my favorites, because without each one of your talents, would we be able to save the universe? We could not save the universe without each one of you and the special thing you bring to our universe. So that's where we are.
Well played. Well played.
Well done. Well done.
That's why you are right for the job.
The ultimate sacrifice, but
Senator Harris, I think you have a question for Don.
So let's see. Let me say, I think I'm going to ask Don and Chris and Mark and Paul together. If you had to play a different Marvel superhero in your next movie, which superhero would you pick and why?
Ooh, that's a good
So
one.
if you had to, right, kind of like do that Jumanji kind of switch up.
Yeah.
Who would you go with?
I think I'll take the Hulk, just because, Cap doesn't get much CGI. And sometimes I look at Mark and he has all the dots and he's wearing all those strange CGI outfits. I think I wouldn't mind having some fun. Technically, it's really just days off. When the CGI happens, he gets to go home. So I'll
But
say
at the end, but Mark, at the end, you were actually kind of a hybrid, right? You were kind of there, but you were,
Hulk.
so it wasn't as much, right?
Some call him Smart Hulk and some call him Dumb Banner.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I don't know what Chris is talking about, because the days I had to shoot the movie twice. I had to go off and do the CGI by myself, and then with playing with tennis balls for everybody else, and then I had to shoot the scenes with them. Right. So I didn't get a day off. I had to shoot the movie 2 times. But I would love to be.
About that. Yeah, we all.
I would love to be. I'd love to be Black Widow, because she's such a badass. She is. She's a sex symbol, and she is. And she is a master actor. I mean, she is the greatest actor that has ever lived.
You're talking about the Black Widow, or?
And I'm talking about Scarlett and Black Widow at the same time.
Don doesn't approve. I can see that. I can see Don does not approve.
I know who I would like to play, and it's not about any lofty aspirations or any, really deep message, any kind of thing like that. I just want to wear Captain America's pants, the tights.
No, you don't. They're not that comfortable.
I know, but I'm kind of, so I just want to massacre.
But you look great in them.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
That's what Chris said. That's what Chris said.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, Mark, I was going to say Black Widow as well for all those answers that you gave, which I think are all true. But seeing as it sounds dumb to just repeat you, I'll just say Thor, because he hasn't been mentioned. And I would like to see what my body looks like with a CGI'd Hemsworth physique. So that's the only way I'll identify myself with a Hemsworth physique.
Smart.
And there is just something about that hammer. Right. It's, yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And then Scarlett and Zoe, I think, you guys play such strong and powerful characters. And, you were talking about, role modeling for women and just showing the strength, right? And I wonder for your roles, and you've played so many roles. I'm a huge fan of all of you. But are there, for those roles, are there any real life superheroes that or any real life women that inspired or motivated, or men even, that inspired you when you played Gamora and Natasha?
I'm trying to think. I have a lot of strong, I was very fortunate to have a lot of very strong female role models in my life growing up, who were very, grounded, independent, forward-thinking women. And they inspired me to, follow my dreams and to think independently and stand up for myself. And those are all qualities that are, are imbued in all the characters that I play, but certainly in Natasha. I mean, Natasha, her strength really lies in her vulnerability, I think, unexpectedly. Right. And that's been a journey that I've discovered, over the past decade of making these movies and with all of these guys, and I think back to my grandma, who was very politically active. She was, she always very involved in her block association and attendance association, and always encouraged us to get involved in local politics and be active in our communities. That's a huge part of the integrity of who I am. And, it's women like my grandma and like my mom who have really, inspired that kind of independence in me, and so in Natasha and so forth.
Yeah, I get that. And again, it's like when we're fortunate in our personal lives to have those role models, it makes a huge difference. Really does.
It does. It does. And you're that role model for so many young women. I think it's just so inspiring to watch you, speak your truth, be true to yourself, and stay grounded, stay focused with your eye on the prize. That really, it's been incredible to watch, and you inspire so many young women and women alike. I really, I mean that truly from the bottom of my heart. It's an honor, really, to watch you and to be here with you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Zoe.
That's a huge compliment. Thank you. Zoe?
Yes, I was going to say my grandmother, too, as an immigrant, she came here in 1961, and it was the year that the dictator Trujillo was assassinated in Dominican Republic. And my grandmother was born in the 30s. So for 30 years of his tyranny, she never really knew freedom until she landed in New York. And every year after we were born, she would always tell us on the day that she arrived. It was always like this big gathering. She would make a big dinner, and she would always tell us a tale of what it was like when she landed in New York and she worked, and then when she became a citizen, and she was always able to vote and have an opinion and really care about her community. And that is something that, just like your grandma Scarlett, she really instilled in us the importance of community and to care not just about what happens inside your home, but also what's happening in your neighbor's home and who needs help. And as a Latina, she was so proud of being able to be a citizen and work her way in a nation that enabled her the gift of growth and progress. And this year, every time I tune in and I listen to the news and the stats and how the Latinos and the young generations, millennials and well, not really Gen Zs, but the millennials are really coming out and voting. It makes me feel that she would have been really proud to know that. We lost her last year, but it's the one thing that my sisters and I, fervently, we just want to continue living on and immortalizing just those teachings that she gave us about voting and caring about America and caring about a community.
Wow. See, there's a through line. Thank you, guys.
Those were amazing answers. And Senator, we've got a little surprise for you now. We have a fan who actually sent in a video with a birthday message just for you. So here's that special fan.
Hi, everybody. Sorry to barge in on you like this, but I just wanted to drop in and say happy birthday to my superhero wife. I wish we could be together watching yet another Avengers movie right now, but this is the next best thing. And I can't pass up an opportunity to say something I've always wanted to. Avengers, assemble. This is amazing. I see Captain America, Black Widow, War Machine, Gamora, Hulk, Ant-Man, Falcon, and my friends, the Russos. Hey, Joe and Anthony, good to see you again. As usual, Thor seems to be off somewhere else. One of the last times we saw you all together, Thanos tried to snap his fingers and kill half the universe, but thanks to science, we solved the problem. The threat we face now isn't entirely different. A global pandemic, a climate crisis, and a president who is making it all worse. He is a villain fit for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, except he tweets more, and he's an active super spreader. One of the things I love about your movies is that at their core, they're about a diverse and unlikely crew of characters coming together to try to make the world better. And that's what this campaign is about, convincing Americans from walks of life that if we all come together, there's nothing we can't do.
Right
That's my Dougie.
Yes, I think you might have done Avengers Assemble a little bit better, maybe.
I was going to say, it took my line.
That was a beautiful birthday message. Really amazing.